course, with me is Mr. Gerald Llanos, a professional in his own right. And we are here, as usual, we talk about the issues, we talk about the things that are in the news. We try to analyze the things that are in the news and we bring it to you. We also, it's a game of cricket, of course, and we also look at how the both teams are batting, the bowling side and the fielding side. And the fielding side and the batting side, sorry. So the batting side, of course, is your government, our government of Trinidad and Tobago, and the bowling side, of course, will be the opposition. So, good evening, Gerald.
Good evening, sir.
What's
How
happening?
are you?
What happened today, boy?
Today I made some progress, man. I get somebody to solve a problem for me all the way in Sri Lanka. All I tried to get the problem solved in Trinidad, I couldn't get solved. And I spoke to somebody in Sri Lanka and the problem solved within 15 minutes. So,
yeah, that kind of links with?
well, it's not a matter of links, it's a matter of we live in a global village, so to speak. And we have to understand that there are places in which our skills and our services are very much in demand and cannot be found. And in some cases, we cannot get solutions to certain things, and we could find them in different parts of the world. So we have to begin to think of ourselves in a wider playing field than Trinidad and Tobago, and some of us will become more successful as a result. So that was today for me. Very interesting, and I'm glad to be here with the listening public. Good afternoon, world. And I hope everybody had a good and productive and profitable day. And for those who are in the wilderness trying to find their way, we ask you to hold the strain and hold the faith and continue to persevere, and the rewards will come.
Of course. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we would have started the show late this evening. We are almost at the top of the hour. And of course, we go to pay some bills when that time reach, and that probably will be within the next 3 minutes. But yesterday we spoke a lot about probably one of the good things coming out of the bad crime situation that we have, and sometimes we like to keep it on the positive. I don't know how much of that we can do today, but yesterday, remember that discussion we was having yesterday
Yes,
on the lady that ran away from somewhere.
She didn't run away, she ran towards.
Well, whatever she did.
Yes.
But she was missing.
Yes, somebody miss her. Somebody miss her.
She was missing for some days, actually.
She wasn't missing, somebody missed her.
And that is Miss Waldron. I think it's Shalana Waldron.
Oh gosh, Miss Waldron, I'm happy for you.
And she was found somewhere far away. But she said she's not going back.
Not going back.
And she was happy where she was.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I think she had met someone probably some weeks before or something, and she said she was going to marry to that person. So that was exciting because we kind of dissected yesterday.
Yes.
And we understood, we had a kind of good understanding of why these things happen. And sometimes when a woman run away, it's a last straw.
Yes.
But she do it for her own sanity, to keep her own sanity and that kind of thing. So sometimes it's nothing more than that.
Yes.
But I observe even while we were speaking yesterday, things were happening. And I saw a very gruesome video yesterday. Someone sent it to me. I don't know if you saw that video.
I heard the audio from the video.
You heard the audio? Yeah, with some guys kind of like mutilating a man somewhere, Toko somewhere on that side. I can't believe we have gone far. We've come far, and this is not foreigners doing that. This is Trinis doing that. That to me that was horrendous. Just looking at it, I mean, it's just I can't believe somebody doing somebody else that. People doing that, a group of people doing somebody. I've seen things like that already on video in Trinidad, but more videos like that in other countries like Latin America and things.
Yeah.
But seeing it happening here by locals it was a little more than her, and it was kind of frightening to know that people doing these kind of things and could do that. And it have you wondering every day, boy. When will it reach you, boy?
You got friends to pay.
Alright, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will continue this
on the street. 919 FM.
Peace of God be multiplied unto you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Redemption Hour, a gospel program where God will reveal His mind to you on how to live a fulfilled life and to please Him in all areas. Join Pastor Femi Afolabi, the National Overseer of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Trinidad and Tobago, and other seasoned ministers for a time of divine encounter as they minister and pray for you every Saturday by 9 o'clock in the morning of this station, Street FM 91.9. Our church is Deeper Life Bible Church, number 1 Cochrane Street, opposite Tunapuna Police Station, Tunapuna. The times of our services are as follows: Sunday worship service, 9 a.m., Monday Bible study, 6 p.m., Thursday revival hour, 6 p.m. The Redemption Hour is a life-changing moment you cannot afford to miss. For special prayer or counseling, contact Pastor Femi Afolabi on 778-9933. God bless you as you listen to this program. Jesus is Lord.
What are you doing? Big deal, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we were the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our vibe, and let we join together, because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Midweek, we got you. Sandwich Wednesdays, 2 KFC sandwiches for just $50. Double the crunch, double the flavor, double the value. Why settle? It must be KFC. Order now. Follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
She's done it all for you. Nurse, chef,
Mom, I could borrow.
always helping you out in a crunch.
Yup.
Mom is that girl, and KFC is helping you show her just how lucky you are with a Quartz shopping spree with $10,000. Buy a Lucky 7 bucket for just $99. Upload your receipt to KFC's DMs, and you could hook Mom up with a $10,000 Quartz shopping spree. Plus, more treats to spoil her, from a sparkation to stylish reflexer eyewear. Show Mom she is that girl with KFC. Promotion ends Friday, 8th May. Approved by the NLCB.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations, Wilson Road, Scarborough, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chaguanas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Is a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make it like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we were talking about a brazen killing that took place a few days ago, maybe day before yesterday, sometime ago. And I think the police was on a search for the mutilated body. I think that was the one in the carcass, but I don't think they found the one that I was talking about in Toko, where the three guys was chopping up the guy. And that to me is really sad that we've reached that level. And I don't know if it is so much so to film it. And I don't know if we've reached a stage where criminals just feel that they could do these things with impunity and not face any consequences for it. What do you think is the reason for that, boy?
So in the first place, I do not think that vicious, violent individuals are new. And as all the experts always say, never get any drunk.
Never what?
Never get any drunk. Never let them put you any drunk. Never let them carry you to a second place. And I think many people that we have.
What are you talking about? I don't understand.
So the anatomy of these types of criminal situations is somebody obviously cannot mutilate or brutalize or torture you at the site where they might meet you. They have to carry you to a second location to do you any advanced wickedness, like this situation where they cut off this young man's head.
But this might be friends. I mean, all the linemen, somewhere going, somewhere, I don't know, it looks so to me.
It might be, however, what the general rule, because there are something before we went on a break, which was we all wondering,
who will be next?
What if we next? And we have to be ready, and we do hope that the government is able to hasten access to firearms to more people in the coming years.
You think that will solve the problem?
I think that everybody wants and needs a fighting chance in a bad situation. And I mean, God help you if they come for you and you have no answer. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight or your hands to a gunfight. You're in a terribly disadvantaged situation.
But nobody just tell you when they come in to attack you or to do anything.
And this is
and if they're telling you when they come in, you don't know, you would not have on you all the time moving with it unless you're moving at 24 and you're looking around to see who coming for you. You most of the time when you get attacked, you get attacked. You wasn't expecting it unexpectedly.
Mr. Matheson, you are touching on the key consideration, and I think the concern that many members of the TTPS have.
So giving people more firearms and things, but I don't think they might exacerbate the problem.
You may, and I mean we saw it. Of course, there has been some back and forth over the Gary Griffith era, when firearms were a bit more accessible. And what the police will tell you is that they saw a lot of incidents of firearms left in bars.
Let me take this call.
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, caller. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Matheson. Matheson is only one way to solve this problem, this government has to make some executive decision. We have to start hanging these people. Let's have 15 of them or 20 of them in Ghetto every Tuesday in one. Let them know how serious the thing is now. It might cool it down a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, caller, thank you. Yeah, you were saying?
Hang them every Tuesday, that's one way to go.
Yeah.
So
we will talk about that.
We will talk about that for sure. When you are a FUL holder, and anybody who's ever carried a firearm will tell you, your gun is a baby.
Well,
and
we know that.
And in addition to that, you have to be combat ready and combat effective at all times.
But you tell
There's no such thing as an unguarded moment. And I believe that the police concern is that there are many people who say they want guns, but they have no concept of being armed at all times, day and night, and always being ready to defend themselves and their family. You can never not have it at hand. You can never not have it on your person. You can't leave it in your car. You can't leave it here. You can't leave it there. Something you have to make almost an extension of yourself. And I don't think many citizens are ready for that life.
Well, that's why I said what I said.
Yes.
I mean, I'm in the public, giving everybody a firearm wouldn't necessarily solve the problem. They might exacerbate it. The thing is, you giving people clean firearms to move around now, to take from you, because if the bandits, the would-be criminals know you have a firearm on you all the time, and you saying there is no unguarded moment, but you are a human being, and you will have some time. You're lineman, you're doing everything normal. You have it on you, but you know, and in fact, you wouldn't even have it on you all the time, right? What is he saying? I don't think everybody need a firearm. We need to have that proliferation of firearms in that kind of way. But I do agree that there are people and who needs firearm, and the accessibility of it is important. Good evening, caller. Oh, you missed that caller there. Yeah. Good evening, KFC. Good evening, caller. Oh, you missed that caller there.
Hey, good afternoon, Marcus.
Yeah, good afternoon.
And to your guests, I should I keep playing them politicians and playing like trying to press the point on that privilege, because I'm calling to make my contribution. Crime can never stop in this country, and we are greedy politicians for their friends and family and victimizing the poor and needy out there. I doubt I see so much racism going on in this country. Because at the moment with my big brother, he's an activist. Remember Barry Parrot. I tell you how wicked it is. He had put them down there. Yeah, he staff on them come out there. You know when they get them kind of people, when they bring them, they just to victimize African people. And Barry, when he play like he come out, he want to talk, activists go out there check him. He running through the back door. Yesterday when my black sister, who in the MP there, who said it was black people, or the Prime Minister split it up, Jolene John, that fire down there. 3 people were by Jolene John yesterday. She see 2 people who look like me. When they tell me, she telling me what she can't see me and she can't think in there. And they're right in your face there. They're not hearing your concern, they're not hearing your complaint. And I, as a man, support this party. Fight, toil, do all kind of protocol to work with this party here. Mr. Good afternoon to my brethren Batch, who was on social media talking. Because he come out and talking, he was campaign on the campaign train. I said they let go him. Them encouraging crime. I don't man change my life from crime and walk away from crime, Mr. Marcusson. I have 2 lovely daughters and a wife. I trying. I go out and accept for the opportunities and neglect. Like I send up for the work TT. People who I went and apply with. Them working, them in Miami, the man who's supposed to hire me tell me something fishy. How they call me out. And I have 2 children, I rent to pay, I have mortgage to pay. I live in a government agency building, I try, Because them encouraging crime, I walk away from crime, We looking for the handout, So Barry and them, all the time is short, because all the victimizing poor black African people and African people who getting a little food in the UNC, they're not helping out the black brothers and sisters there. They're victimizing their own black brothers and them. They're more worse than these things than them by. So, Honorable Prime Minister, real victimization thing going on to the poor and needy out here. Because back to say I've been real by talking by too much of wickedness going on with some of them ministers and them by, especially them young, by I go on by cost on this radio station here, right?
Yeah. Okay, thanks for your contribution, KFC. KFC, obviously, have a...
KFC is angry.
Axe to grind is
yeah,
angry.
KFC is angry. KFC
and
is
I know
angry.
he was a supporter, so I don't know what happened, but KFC, my heart is with you. I hope you get through sometime.
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, caller.
Umpires, good evening, man.
Good evening.
How are you all?
Good so far.
Yeah, man, greetings, man. Well, here now, I saw that video you all talking about, eh?
Mm-hmm.
You know the fellas and them who committed that crime is young fellas, all 17 and thing, boy?
Yeah, boys, that's what I was hearing.
Young boys, you know?
Young fellas.
And the greatest thing about it is that in the video, one of them saying, they saw we just do it.
Yeah.
While they're chopping,
yeah,
they saw we just do it.
Which connotates that they are accustomed doing that.
That is the point. That is the point, umpire. So they did it before.
Mm-hmm.
They did it before. Umpire, the batting side, I heard the captain at the batting side said that she don't have no crime plan. In other words, she don't know if to play down the ball or hit it from six. She had no plan at all. Or if to play down the ball. Now, the vice captain now, name come up in social media showing that he was appear in family court for maintenance. That's the vice captain.
You call him the vice captain.
The vice captain, right?
That's the vice captain.
Hey.
So just the other day, he talking to some young black players, behave all yourself and do the right thing. But you as the vice captain going to court for maintenance. Now, what kind of example you're setting for the younger set, especially the young black men that you're talking to? And matter of fact, umpires, I don't even appreciate the fact that he just class black people or black youths. Basically, they say youths. Don't classify it, don't separate it because it's not only black youths committing crime. Now I understand where you're going with it. But classify everybody because all races committing crime. So when, as I say, the leader of the team say that they don't have a plan, what does it leave for us? Because you came into bat claiming that you have a plan to win the game. Now you're saying that you don't have a plan to win the game. So where does that leave us umpires? So we're watching on and seeing how it will go.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to analyze this. What I could say is that everybody just have a plan. Everybody think they have a plan when they want to get into office. What we're seeing happening right now is that the things are playing, certain things are maturing. So we are at a stage where, because we've left certain things to fester for so long, it is now maturing, and we are seeing the effects of it. Now, while the batting side could still rally on the fact that on a trajectory, their runs in terms of crime is lower than what existed before, I don't think you could just stand up on that. You had to have a plan to arrest this situation. And if you don't, then it will get out of control. So
all for long.
Yeah, that's my position. We have to have a plan, because every day we come on the show and we say we don't really want to talk that kind of negative, but you're seeing things more horrendous than the day before, and it gets in you scared. The kind of things you're seeing, and while it is not in the magnitude as what is not the amount of murders as probably what happened 2 years ago and that kind of thing, put on a trajectory.
Yeah.
But it could get there still, especially if you have no plan, especially if you're not doing anything different to change the reality. You know, and that is you can't sit down and wish that it will be lower, because that wouldn't be a good idea. That wouldn't be a plan. You know, you had to do some things.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Umpire.
And one of the things I in particular say all the time is that I think we're looking in the wrong direction if we look into solve crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is a multifaceted approach, and you can't deal with one thing and not deal with the other. So you can't beef up crime fighting and policing and that kind of thing and not deal with the other thing, the other real causes, the other real catalysts that causes, you know, that ends up in crime. So we had to deal with those things too, and we had to deal with those things on a social level, and we had to deal with it quick. If we don't deal with it, we'll have real problems, right?
I agree with you.
And we are a small place. I say this all the time. We are small, too small as a matter of fact, not to be able to figure this out, right? You have all kind of scientific methods, all kind of tools that you can use. Right? You don't have to go far. You know, I like to talk about China and things. You don't even have to go there. Right? Sit down and research it. Ask AI to tell you what to do and what are the methods you could use, and they too will tell you. That too will tell you. And we have an AI man here, and he too will tell you what some of the things you could do. There are a number of things. It's a multifaceted thing. It's not a simple thing. It's not a thing you could just say, well, you put more police on the ground, or you do this, or you change up the way the police work, and that is not about that. You have to deal with the real root cause of the thing: education, communities, right? And not in a way with like boots on the ground, beating on people and that kind of thing, but letting the police know who is who. You know, have more police youth club, more interaction with communities, more sensible policing, meaning, you know, understanding the people. Different kind of policing. And my fellow Umpire Ronaldo, he always talk about how police approach in first world countries. They approach you with information, right? They approach you.
And another,
huh?
Another thing we cannot deny, umpires, is that unemployment breeds crime.
Well, of course. I mean, if you put water in a bottle, when that bottle full, that water, and you keep putting it, that water will find a way to escape. And it's the same thing. I mean, a person can only take so much. They will survival. People need to survive.
Survival. All right, umpires. Have a good evening.
You know? So, I don't know what... Fellow umpire, what's your position on this whole thing?
Number one issue we have in Trinidad and Tobago is that we are deeply inequitable society.
Right. So that is something I would want to talk about. But let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Madison and your co-host.
Yeah.
Mr. Madison, I heard today, coming out from Jamaica, the crime rate has gone down significantly. In fact, there was I think, an 18 or 19% decline in crime, right? Figures revealed recently. Well, probably this week. And I am saying that you have best practice in the Caribbean, right in Jamaica. Yes, you brought the Rousseau, and in fact, it was not supported in the parliament. But as you say, it's multifaceted. There must be a multifaceted approach to dealing with crime. And you also mentioned that you have AI, and you can go to Chat GPT, and they told you, in fact, they have planned the Jamaican plan and what they did in order to reduce crime. And looking at one aspect of it, patrol, mobile patrol, and foot patrol, and they tell you how they implemented it, and they would have done research and whatnot in terms of what worked. It's there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They tell it's instructive.
Correct.
And they need. I don't know what is keeping the police back. It's there, and we spoke about it. And I thought I was wrong some time ago when I said you need police on the mobile police. You need patrols, mobile patrol. You need foot patrol. You need community police again to work in partnership with the police. Yes, you need to deal with gangs and whatnot, your tactics, into operational tactics that you need to use. But in fact, everything is there, and it accounts for why crime has declined in Jamaica. Why are they not used? And everything is there. Why? And I don't know whether the police. I can't understand. It's there. Everything is right there. Try it. They tell you why they work in Trinidad. They tell you what you need to do in Lab and Till. They tell you what you need to do in Enterprise. Everything is on AI, Chat, GPT. And the politicians, those who are in charge, they could go. They're educated people. They could use the technology, in terms of the digital. They're savvy. Go and you would see there. They tell you need to put patrol in the area, but when you put patrol, you can't have it regular. You have to be irregular, and they tell you why the people would. Oh, everything is there. So all I can try to implore that these people go to ChatGPT and ask whether mobile and you get everything that has applied in Jamaica and has resulted in a significant decline in crime in Jamaica. Go there. It's there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You may have to do some modification, maybe, but everything is there. I don't want to take too much of your time, Mr. And one thing I want to talk, when people quote people, they must be correct. I heard the lady spoke about, and I mean, even though I don't agree with it, but the fact remains what she said, she doesn't have a crime plan. She has an anti-crime plan. All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and the caller is right. The caller is right.
I don't think the caller is right.
Okay, go ahead.
So one thing you have to understand about Jamaica is Jamaica's economy has been strengthening over the past 5 to 7 years, significantly. And Jamaica has had the most militarized police force in the Caribbean and the whole. And that is because Jamaica has faced maybe the greatest and most gravitatious violence the Caribbean has ever seen. So their police...
Hold on 1 second. I will take this call. This guy calling a while now. Good evening, caller. Caller?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, gentlemen. And good afternoon to you. Mr. Matteson, you are so right when you talk about the approach that has to be taken to deal with the challenge of crime that we face. You see, it has some persons, no matter how much amount of laws there are in place or how efficient it is to enforce laws, some people are going to just commit certain actions. And as a nation, we have to have things in place to be able to apprehend them and treat with the matter. There are other persons with just the mere fact that they have systems in place that will have to be accountable for their actions, will make other choices. It have other persons, if it have opportunities that keep them occupied in productive activity, they will not find themselves committing certain activities. It have programs, if you just look at what's going on in the country, it have a large number of persons whose mind, out of it, boy, it's not really literate, when you look at some of the answers persons might have for certain simple questions, you need to engage people's minds so that their minds can start working and heading in a certain direction. Because a lot of people, I don't know how to describe the mindset that they're walking around with, but it really isn't a productive one, right? But we continue to have people in power who just trying something because something needs to be done and not understanding that things have to be done with sense. You can't just have a SOE and expect it to solve all the challenges that we're facing. What are the other things that you are doing? Do you have a program where the MPs putting on and going into the communities and trying to engage the minds of the ones that are going astray in hope that you don't engage in this type of activity that we continue to see? And you know what's the funny thing? When we see this video, all of us can give a clear narration of what is there and match it back to the video. And if we have somebody as the head of the police who on certain occasions cannot do that, then it's clear that we're really not serious as a nation when it comes to crime, because that is a serious challenge. He needs to be consistent. You can't want to give a ball-by-ball narrative, and then when it comes to the police being involved, as it relates to acting untoward, you want to give us a Nancy story. And I don't know who is doing the thinking, but it is clear to me that they are not serious about addressing crime. Because crime has many aspects to it, and it is only certain aspects that we continue to aggressively move towards, right? And forsaking the rest is what have the problem festering so long and get so ridiculous. But the measures are very simple and effective if we apply them.
What you think might be some of the most critical measures that needs to be taken to arrest this situation?
Two simple things, Mr. Matteson. Two very, very simple things is the police wearing body cameras so that they will have actual footage to verify what they say or what the public say, and putting cameras along all of the public spaces that we can afford to do so. It makes no sense that we're spending 6 and 7 billion every year in national security and we don't have a system in place where the people who are enforcing the law have nothing to go on many times.
But I ask you for two things. You said here what you say. You say body cam and cameras. But
yes,
those are things that will help after the fact. What about the things to arrest the situation? The things that the social issues, all the things that would arrest the situation long before it happened. The education system, all that kind of thing. What about those things?
I like the question. In my time coming up, it had a program that Neil and Matthew used to called Boys to Men. Mm-hmm. That really is what engaged my mind and took it in a certain direction where I was able to make different decisions from my peers. I grew up in Nevada, right? And the thing about it, these type of programs ought to be what the MPs who come and beg you for your vote needs to bring to your community, because the MP needs to understand that they have a responsibility as it relates to the betterment of the people that they represent. So if you realize, okay, it need this program, it need that program, it need this, that's why it is always called for the 41 MPs to probably have an opportunity to create an industry in your community. You could do all kind of tires they could use to recycle to create something. It have all kind of things. If it's making boxes, you understand? It have many different things, programs to engage the minds of people. It have all kind of different things, but MPs need to be MPs.
So in essence, you're saying that the politicians, the Baton side and the Boland side, because when you talk about MPs, it's 41, you're saying that the politicians need to decentralize the whole thing, come down on the ground and work with the people.
Correct, because the politicians are the conduit, right, as it relates to who's supposed to be having easy access to go to whatever institution of the state and say, hey, my community is in need of this, whether it's from Ministry of Works, Ministry of National Security, Ministry of Health, whatever it is. The politicians, right, supposed to be the ones pushing for that cause, because you representing there. If you know it have a challenge for water, you have to be the one making the call. And
So in essence, what you're talking about in a kind of way is a kind of equitable system where everybody get the same thing in communities throughout the country, where all politicians are working together to arrest the situation.
Not necessarily get the same thing, right? I don't know what structure they could work together to come up with.
Meaning programs, meaning if what you're saying is that's a good idea, you know. I mean, the caller before he spoke about that too. He always talk about the community, the coming to the on the ground, the politicians knowing everybody, and that kind of thing. And I certainly believe that certainly could be one of the answers to fix this problem.
When I say not everybody receiving the same thing, not all communities are the same. So one community might have a need for something that our next community don't have a need for. The MP ought to be representing these people by familiarizing themselves with what are the needs and challenges that are existing in the area, and see what measures they can bring to try to treat with it. Right? So whether it's it have a lot of house breaking or what, and you have to meet with the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security, and develop something, right? And the thing is, if it is working in one community, and next community with similar challenges will probably adopt it, could adopt it and bring it to their constituency also, right? But they need to come down from basically and make room so that qualified professionals is who will be running the ministries, so that the ministries and all will become productive entities, right? It have plenty things. Anyhow, I don't want to take too much time on the program as usual.
Okay.
But we're not really not serious.
Okay.
Not
thanks for your introduction. Yes. So you heard the caller.
I heard the caller.
You heard the caller before, and you was responding to the caller before.
I heard this.
So let me hear what's your take on this.
There exists an underclass in Trinidad and Tobago, and we took our cool time to create this underclass.
Okay.
And this underclass doesn't really believe that it has a place in productive society. And they have continued to be excluded from the version of society where people work and make a living and make a life. And they have decided to make a living and make a life in a different way. And the vicious cycles, the poverty cycles are already moving. So now, it's two things that you have to do. You have to arrest those trends by arresting the people who are perpetrating the acts. But you also have to arrest those trends by creating cycles of prosperity. And what we are seeing is that we're taking a very militaristic approach to treating with the criminal elements, which is just the manifestation of this underclass that we've created as a society. And that militaristic approach will not and cannot work if we do not create an alternative to the underground economy for those people who exist by the underground economy. Until you create an alternative to the underground economy for those who exist in it. And remember, there are professionals like me and you who crooked as hell. There are business people who are white-collar criminals extraordinary. There are people in the business community who are the ones calling the shots, the ones organizing the extortion, the ones running the drugs. So we can't take a one-dimensional look at what our crime situation is and expect to solve it. And I think that Jamaica's success in moving from one of the most dangerous places in the Caribbean to a much safer place than it was has less to do with the militaristic approach, because there's nothing new about the militaristic approach. I think it has something to do with the embracing of technology. So there is an AI task force in Jamaica that's been figuring out, even with their limited resources, how to leverage technology. Their economy, they have one of the fastest growing stock exchanges in the world. They've been doing work to stimulate the SME section of society, doing things to stimulate people.
I haven't done any research on that, so I can't answer to that. But
yeah, but Jamaica's been doing some things. To put it very simply, Jamaica's been doing some things. So when you continue to have your militaristic approach, but then on the other end, opportunities, and opportunities is the greatest crime fighting tool. We need more opportunities for those who exist in our underclass to come out of our underclass and become productive members of society.
In a nutshell, that's what we've been saying. I mean,
yes.
The thing is, we need to focus on the catalysts, the things that might possibly lead people to a life of crime. Remember, a long time when you was growing up, your parents used to say, the devil find
work
things
for
idle hands to do.
Yeah.
And that is a true irony.
Statement.
Yeah?
Yeah. True.
So we got to understand that. And if we understand that to start with, right? So all this talk about free education and that kind of thing, yeah, maybe that's why we have so many people who get it and don't even understand what they got, or don't even understand, they didn't even appreciate what they was getting when they was getting.
I'm sure they don't.
Right? So the thing is, we have to change our approach.
We do.
Right? And if we don't, we will be doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting to get a different result.
Definition of insanity.
Insanity.
Yes.
Right? Spending a whole set of money on all kind of choppiness. Right? When really and truly we missing the point.
But we had to try something. And I think that's what we do.
You see that try something?
We have to try something.
You see that try something, I have a problem with that.
Tell me your problem with it.
Because, I come from the school, I thought, where I am very scientific. I deal with numbers.
Yes.
Right? I come from the school, I thought, where you need to critically think through things and plan. Right? With the data that you have. And if you can't do that, then you will always be trying something like what you're talking about there. Good evening, caller. Caller, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
This is I-91.9 show.
This is 919 show, yes, Street 91.9.
All right. I was not hearing about the crime fighting method and thing, but I want to ask the expert there. After 20 years focusing on crime hotspot, the African youths, and spending $120 billion. $120 billion. How crime getting worse? How the human trafficking increase, gun trafficking, drug trafficking, human technique for human consumption, fake pharmaceutical, and we could go on and on. Like these things is not crime then.
Well, they are all crime, and as a matter of fact,
where the wealth, if you're spending, if drugs, right? Marijuana alone is $100 million a day business. Why the ghetto man do have $100,000 in the bank? Then who is responsible for crime? You know why crime is how it is in our country? Because everybody hypocrite. right? Nobody don't care. Once a man has something to give a man something, he don't care who, what he do, who he kill, who he do, right? I watch me, we will spend 120 billion again because we already focusing on the ghetto man. If crime was about the ghetto man alone, it will take $2 billion to stop crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Crime is not about the ghetto man. Because let me ask you something. When a man kill a man for a car, throw a man off a cliff, chop a man, which party is carry the crime? Which party has carried the car and sell it? In the ghettos? And you feel the police and them know, the police and them don't know that? The police service is the longest hand of the underworld. And that is why crime is how it is today. And it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. So that kind of stupid exporting about Jamaica and Jamaica. Listen, brother. We in this country, all right, with all the American vessels and all kinds of things had in the water, why it never had a shortage of marijuana or cocaine on the street? The young African man controlling that? But the young African man has to be a victim of that. Who will sell the drugs? Who will sell the drugs? Is that design? Who will sell the drugs? Who will sell the weed? Let me tell you something. It has 750,000 people smoking marijuana. Everybody smoking $100 a day. Check that. Check how much $1 million is that. Check it. You feel any plan will stop that? You feel any plan will stop $100 million ganja business for that? Well, you come on now and tell you stupid, so you say, hey, crime. Corruption is not crime. Corruption is not crime. And think, and everybody turn their head. What do you say? There is thief. There is do this, but we just eat our food. You ever eat a food country? Yeah? You ever eat a food country? Who's stopping crime? Them planning to kill young African men. And young African men is not responsible for all the crime going on. The young African men is just the tool and the fork and the hole in the drug trade. Why people just talk about those shady and man too? Them was angel in the drug business in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? And Kisum was an angel because everybody is to live and everybody is to live. Right? Yeah, that's stupidness. I said that's stupidness. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's stop the job.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody have an answer to
even a broken clock is right twice a day. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
But what do you think we should do from here? Because it seems to be escalating and it's exponentially in terms of the gravity of the heroin use, the kind of crimes that are taking place.
So, if you're asking me what the stages I would take if it was me, in the first instance,
because this program we try to deal with solutions,
right? So the first thing that we look at, I mean, the gentleman accused me of sounding too smart, but that's all right. The state owes a Hobbesian duty to its citizens. We owe the citizens a safe place to live. That goes back to Hobbes, who's our old law philosophy.
Hobbes and Rousseau and them guys, and
right.
Talk about that, right?
So
life will be brutish if the state don't do what it's supposed to do.
Life would be brutish. So the first thing we have to do is find some reasonable middle ground in terms of a person having a good chance of surviving an attack.
Surviving an attack? You still talking about surviving an attack?
Yeah, allow me.
I thought you was talking about surviving in general.
So surviving in general at this moment, I believe that at the very least, homeowners should be allowed to keep a firearm at home. At the least.
But the law provides for that already. I mean, why?
I can't keep a shotgun at home.
The law provides for that already. It's just that how do you access it now? And there's a system to access it.
Indeed.
The thing is, maybe it's moving too slow.
Indeed.
But I will agree that everybody don't need one either. And the proliferation of it could cause a different kind of problem. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good program as usual. Mr. Matheson, I'd like you to send me your number when I finish. Send me your number, please. I want to talk to you about something.
My number? You can take my number. My number is public. You can take my number now. 382-4208. 382-4208. 4208.
Right. Coming back to the crime situation and thing, right? Now, we had the container, the scanner for the container where one broke down, right? Now, why it is they remove the other one on the port? So you have no scanning for the container. If one wasn't working, and that doesn't cost much money, right, to fix. Now, Gary had instituted a lot of things to fight crime, different things with in the cars and so on, and the scanning and scanning cars in roadblocks and whatever. They find it was, it could have been dangerous, the X-ray or whatever, and think that you could have scanned a car and see what certain things, if you have firearm in the car or whatever. You understand? All them things shut down, right? I mean, he did good. He had some good ideas, right? And he tried to put certain things in place which was going fairly okay. But the problem is the police force. You see, that is the biggest problem, and we have to really do a lot of research as how we're going to deal with that to get rid of the corrupted police. And
I agree with you 1,000%.
That's
the biggest problem. That's a big problem. I don't know if it's the biggest, but that's one of the problems. The biggest problem to me is the politicians not understanding what to do. That is the biggest problem to me.
That's the next problem by itself.
Right?
That's the next problem because we have alleged circumstances with certain politicians involved with certain criminals and so on, as has been the case from ever since.
But
since the beginning of the PNM and the UNC coming down the line, right? They always associate themselves with certain types of characters and things that has rank in the society. You always had that going on for a long time. We could do it with PNM and Dr. Rat and all this kind of thing coming down the place from even before that, right? But you know what I don't understand too? Why it is do we associate ourselves so much with this man who has been destroying the world, technically destroying the world, right? Because you shut down research, you shut down all types of things the world was advancing towards renewable energy and all these types of things. The stem cell with cancer and all these cancer researchers, you shut down everything, right? And yet we associated ourselves with this man, and he's lying so much, right? And he's involved in so much. Thank God his own people turning against him, but we here bigging him up, right? Because you want to look at the pressure, the further pressure he is still on Cuba, right? But anyway, coming back to our situation, right? In Canada or America, a man pass flying down the road, he has to take off and a car go behind him. In Trinidad, you don't hear that. You can see one or two cars. Sometimes they do a little timing, and that is it. You understand? Or sometimes they come, and put the whole country under chaos with roadblock, right? And they're not even checking your trunk for guns and things. They're checking for tires, for lights, for wipers, and sticker. You understand? What is really going on in Trinidad? I mean, look at this landlord thing. They encourage crime with that, or no? Because Mr. Matheson, if a man renting a place for 300 or 500, giving a man a little room or something, and he has to go and pay 2,000 to register, right? He might give the man notice to move, and next thing that man out of a place, because you're hearing people talking about it already, right? They're not going to pay that, they want to get rid of the tenant. So you bring in more crime amongst people. Like these, I don't know who just think of these things before they pass it, boy. You understand? If you want to get the big bracketers on them with the 600,000 and 500,000 a month and things, let them go for a certain bracket, right? You know, and they had no right, Tamil had no right in the first place to scrap the land and building taxes. You could have just let that continue. Hire less people than they hire for property tax and all this type of thing. You move around. If it's two houses at the premises, they pay $200 a year. Because people are paying $70-something and $50-something a year, and they would make so much more money with that, right? Rather than scrap it for so much years and then try to introduce property tax, scrap that, and also with landlord tax. You understand? That's a stupid thing that was never thought out properly, because a lot of people going to give the tenants notice to remove, and it's the poor man that goes getting the jamming all the time. All the time. The public secret. If you cut off the contractors and you send men around to get the names and things and let the work continue, up and up, some people, it's just a few people started back to work, you know. Right? People lost things that they take out on terms and all this type of thing, was repossessed and so on. I don't know who has come up with the thinking, you understand? I don't know what is going on, but we really, these things are not analyzed properly. I mean, they have a lot of good things in place, fine, that's a common stream and whatever, but the man in the streets, they are not connected to the ground at all. At all. I mean, you all have a great program. I learn a lot from your program, and you'll keep it up. And I mean, that situation, we have to really deal with that police force, and then get more police on the streets and things. Because look, okay, you need plane cars. A man flying on the road, assigning to the bomb, you pull him, you charge him, and the next time you pass him, you think he might take a chance, you will think twice to really speed. Now, look at the government of Valencia. You and I could go, we could get 10 police cars. One morning we're in this area, next morning we're in that area. When these trucks flying, we just pull them aside, plane cars pull them aside, give them a ticket. So the next morning he's going up for gravel. He will take his time before he'll be flying on the Valencia road. The mashing up the road, the fixing road so good from to Valencia and put lights and things, and these trucks and them just mashing up the road with these gravel trucks and
okay, caller. So we're going for a break shortly, and
anyway, we'll take care and keep the program going, right?
Thank you.
It's a thing that needs a lot of examination and study.
Yeah, thank you.
Right? Take care.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah. So, you know.
Yep. So let me run through it fast. One, create a situation where citizens could protect themselves to some extent. Two, you have to let consultants like yourself and myself and other leaders in organizational development get a fair opportunity to reshape the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
I'm not looking for work, eh?
I know.
I have plenty work.
I know. But the point of the matter is, this is an organizational behavior issue and an organizational development issue. There are a lot of very bright officers, the leadership sometimes, and the leadership, you could exert very good leadership at the top, you know. But is that going straight down to the most rural station? Maybe not. we have to re-engineer how the police is able to meet their mandate, and from there, where we have an effective police force who is able to do the things that they need to do and are equipped to do so, then we go at the society and make things such that crime is a less attractive option.
So I want on the next side of the hour,
yes,
for us to really examine some of the things closer, go down deeper into how we could really arrest the situation. The caller did say a couple of things, some of which I agreed with, some of which I don't agree with. I happen to agree with some of the government policies and taxes and that kind of thing. But on the other side of the hour, we will certainly want to look at it.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we where the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our fun, and let we join together because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Big deal.
Midweek, we got you. Sandwich Wednesdays, 2 KFC sandwiches for just $50. Double the crunch, double the flavor, double the value. Why settle? It must be KFC. Order now. Follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals.
There's some advice when you hear it. You know one time is good advice. My granny tell me a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea first thing in the morning does wonders for the body. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packets is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads and desserts. But what was news for me is when my granny say a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that strong ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea available with or without sugar, so all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to sing the night, what you could see clear in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right.
Is a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make them like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes. Callers and listeners, we are back. And before we went on this break, we were talking about how do we arrest the situation with crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was saying that we want to take a little deeper look at some of the things that could be done to fix this. And I always say that we need to have or take a multifaceted approach to dealing with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. We just can't say that murders in particular are going down without doing anything in particular to address the situation, to keep it that way. And one murder is too much. So this is a small country, I say this all the time. The solutions that are available to fix Trinidad and Tobago is not a secret. Some of the things I heard some callers would have said in relation to what we could do to fix the problems might be, while it's obvious that we do them, I always talk about belling the cat, and sometimes doing it could have certain kind of repercussions for politicians, especially when politicians think like politicians. And a simple thing like what most people call out for, addressing the police service, that to a large extent could have fallouts in certain areas for politicians, and politicians know that. So that is one area where I use the irony when I say somebody has to belly cat, and belly cat sometimes do have problems, because as a rat trying to belly cat, sometimes you can get eat trying to belly cat. And politicians, to a large extent, they look at 5 years, and they look at the end of the 5 years trying to get back to get the next 5 years. And sometimes they try not to do things that may be unpopular, right? But there are some things we need to address from the top, and some things we need to address from the bottom, and some things we need to address in the middle. But we need to be equitable about it, and we need to do it very, very, not necessarily steadily, but strategically. One of the things I personally will do if I was an authority to do, I would probably try to address the police service in ways that, right, so my good friend just walked back in the studio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd probably try to address as most of us would say, the prime crime fighting organization or apparatus in Trinidad and Tobago to deal with crime is the police service, right? And to me, like, we still, if we looked at what happened in San Fernando, the city police situation not too long ago,
yes,
and right under our nose, what happened there was, endemic of something that was happening long before. And it is not, a lot of people, including the Commissioner of Police, would have gone out on a limb to provide a distinction between the municipal police and the real police. But I'm saying that this could happen in the real police service too. In fact, things like this has happened before. And we don't even, until something like this happens, we will know exactly, until it gets exposed like what happened down there, we will know exactly what's happening in the police service. But the thing is, from what we are seeing, the symptoms, what we see, we know we have a sick institution that is working not in the direction we want them to work to deal with crime. So that's one significant area that we need to deal with to arrest this situation. But there are others, right?
Well, we have to trace back, and this is your baby, of course. This all has a root in our industrial relations climate and our industrial relations framework in Trinidad and Tobago, because accountability is difficult in the public service on the whole. Police service being no exception to that situation. So even in a situation where a leader in the police service may be able to identify that somebody is not fit for purpose, is not promoting the goals of the police service, or perhaps is probably outright doing things wrong, it's very difficult for that person to be disciplined, it's very difficult for that person to be removed. And we even saw stories about those things surrounding our recent situation with the deceased officer and senior people who were said to have been underperforming or not performing, refusing to follow orders, etc. And the institution was under the impression that nothing could be done about it. Mm-hmm. So there are a number of situations acting in concert that lead to the police service being not as effective as we need it to be. Mm-hmm. Despite, and I mean, I have had the opportunity to work with some senior officers, and I mean, the police service is a well-led institution.
But listen,
Yeah.
You know I am well.
Yeah,
If you want to call me a behavioral scientist, if you want to call me industrial relations, employment law person, HR person, whatever.
Yes.
But you know, when we look at things, we don't just look at things in a vacuum.
We cannot.
Right? We look at things. The police service to me is just a microcosm of the larger society. Right?
Correct.
The same kind of people in the community is the same kind of people you have in the police service. So we had to deal with the community. We had to deal with everything. And we have the data. So we had to use the data to deal with it. We know when people are arrested, we know where they are from, we know where they lived before, we know what kind of crime, the propensity of crime they would commit. We have all the data. So why don't we use that data to fix some of the problems?
I don't think we have all data.
You do?
I think
Okay,
I think that the police service as an institution has all of the data and more. But I think that the police service as a wider unit doing things, there are many blind spots in the police service. There are many areas in which that data, that the organization we have on a whole, it's not finding its way down to the person who needs to detect and prevent.
Well then probably is worse than I think then. Because if the police service operating from as long as I was, long before I was a little boy.
Yes.
And you saying that they don't have the data, they don't have data to give.
They have the data is reaching where it needs to reach.
Well,
that's an organizational issue.
Then we have a real problem in Trinidad and Tobago.
We do. The problem is not the data. The people who are involved in high-tech work in the police service are top tier.
Okay.
The equipment and the technology at play.
So what is the sense having top-tier people and top-tier systems and you're getting top-tier results?
Well, that is
what does that say to you as a professional?
That's a question we have to answer.
No, answer that question. What does that say to you as a professional?
That we need consultants in the
police
service.
We
need consultants in the police service.
Listen, you just say you are top-tier people inside there.
They are top-tier policing or top-tier tech doesn't mean top-tier leadership and top-tier management.
So you don't have leadership then?
You have great leadership.
Then
you may not have the best management.
You're bleeping with my head or you're bleeping with my head?
No, I am bleeping with your head. I'm telling you my view on it. My view on it is you have excellent leadership at the top.
So what's the problem, Mr. Llanos? Tell me, what's the problem?
Organizational malaise is the problem. To put it a different way, the further you reach from your top, the further you reach from the tip of your spear, the more disjointed the information is.
You have plenty chief, you have no Indians. That's what you're saying?
The Indians not sufficiently organized. They're not sufficiently resourced. They're not sufficiently aligned.
You bleeping at my head?
Nah. At all. Plenty good Indians. It's a real Indian. It's a real chief, but it's a real Indian. And some of those Indians have all of the technology, all of the data, all of the resources, all of the latitude, everything they need to make an impact. But some of them, they don't have enough, they don't have none. And then some of them have no good intentions.
Okay, but how does that translate?
It doesn't.
To crime detection, solving, going to court, prosecution.
It doesn't.
Putting people before punishment and that kind of, and that's just one area, because that's just one area that's just one area of the dashboard we're looking at. There are plenty other areas, because we had to also deal with the schools, we had to deal with families, we had to deal with communities, we had to deal with all those things, because all those things are at different tiers of the problem.
Yes.
So we had to understand all of that. If we do understand that, then it will be boots on your neck, boots on your door all the time, and you will just frustrate the public. You will just frustrate everybody.
Yes.
And you're not going to get nothing from nobody, because people still don't trust you.
Correct.
You're not going to get no answers from nobody. Nobody going to tell you anything. People are afraid to tell you. That suit you're wearing, boy. How much you pay for that suit? That $1 million? I see stitches around the thing. Or that's a bootleg.
Yeah, buy that in Detroit.
Oh, God. Just saying. All right, But you understand where
Big up Dito, man. Go and get a suit on it. Stop. Big up Dito.
No,
big up Dito.
Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
You're taking calls there?
Yeah, you can call us.
Okay, I just tuned in and realized you're talking about the police service.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask a question. I acknowledge we have problems in the police service. Do we have problems with HEC? Do we have problems with the judiciary?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have problems with WASA?
Mm-hmm.
We close down Petrotrin. The point I'm trying to make is that we have a massive management deficit in the country. You know, it's not only the police service.
A leadership deficit.
Well, you call it leadership, call it what as you pointed out earlier on, the results. We have good people, but we're not getting the results.
Correct.
You know, it's the same thing. Like I was thinking about this problem, and you know, Yui likes to boast every time that all the political leaders in the country have come to Yui and all the leaders in the public service. Now, it's good to boast on graduates standing passing through, but if you look at the state of the country and you look at the results you're getting, because we have had independence since 1962, right? We're in charge of our own affairs.
Correct.
We could change the constitution, we could change our systems and so on.
I love this caller.
And we still seem to be... Well, I like you all too, because I realize you all are consultants and you think constructively, you know, and I now look at the recent thing with I was listening this morning to one of the call-in programs, and this lady Alfonso made mention about they in the firearm service. They have a bank-like vault, and she mentioned they have bank-like systems. Now, I started my career many moons ago in banking, and you know, there's controversy about the fees and so on. Mm-hmm. But the banking sector, we know when it went through the period when banks went through and they were restructured and that kind of thing. Okay. The banking sector, in my view, represents one of the best managed. We mightn't like some of the things, but banks are businesses, and they are one of the most profitable and sustainable
institutions in the country.
Yes,
that is true. That is true.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, most of them, with the exception of First Citizen, have foreign roots, and they have foreign management as well, social and so on. Even First Citizen come from foreign. But why can't we use... I remember when I was in the bank, you had something called dual custody. Two people had to sign, and in those days, to tell you how old I am, it was for $5, anything over $5. Right? And your vault system of cashiers who had control of cash in your vault. There was somebody else who had the vault. You couldn't go in the vault by yourself. You had somebody else. So if there ever was to be irregularity, there had to be collusion with two people, and the chances of catching two people are easier than if it's just one person. The point I'm making is that just like you all are consultants, we have the resources in the country. And while I wouldn't say the private sector has this problem, it handles this problem, generally the public sector and state-managed institutions are severely deficient, and this has been going on since 1956, 1962.
And trust me.
And we're not fixing it.
Trust me. The politicians have their role to play, but you see, the leaders in these institutions, they don't want to change that, you know. That works for them.
Well, the politicians don't want to change it too.
Well,
our constitution says we in our time, because we could talk from now until high heavens. Let me tell you, they're not going to change that constitution. That constitution benefiting them.
Well, we had to move down. We have to cascade down from the constitution, right? And there's a separation that we have to understand in public administration, from the politician to the state-owned institutions and that kind of thing, right? And the state-owned institution by themselves, they follow, you know, the rules, the laws, procurement and that kind of thing. But with everything, they are still able to do the same kind of corruption and that kind of thing, because they have some people in those institutions who are institutionalized, who have been there for a while, and they understand the system, they understand how to get around it, and trust me, they don't want to change it. They don't want private sector thinking inside there at all. They'll do everything to fight that.
To fight it.
Right? So sometimes that is out of the realm of the control of even the minister or anybody else. And I know that for a fact. Right?
Right.
So it is like pulling teeth from a lion, trying to even as one person or so a board or whatever to try to fix that in some cases. And that's a problem. So we could understand why we would still have some of the problem. It will always be with us if we don't change it. If we talk a lot about the cat and the mouse and putting a bell on the cat.
Who will put the bell on
Who
the
will
cat?
put the bell on the cat? And in Trinidad, what you saying there and what we are saying, somebody has to put a bell on this cat.
And that's where leadership comes in.
And that's where leadership comes in. That's the problem we have been trying to make. Right?
So, I'll be a tad controversial here.
At the institutional level, and we have it at the national level as well, because there are some things that only politicians could change.
Yes.
The constitution is going to change unless the politicians decide to change it. And they don't want to change it because it benefits them. They have all the forum and all the discussion up and down the country and talk about it. But they're changing it.
Correct. Yeah. And that's a problem.
Yeah. Anyhow, good program,
Okay.
guys. I like it too. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Good evening, fellow umpire. How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm listening to the conversation, and I have to put in because I totally disagree with you on a particular issue. You make the distinction between private sector and government like they are two separate entities. But if you've been watching the GSC's deliberations on, for instance, procurement in the pharmaceutical industries, you see nexus that are a real challenge. So it is not always fair to say that these things are without the control of the politicians when the politicians are involved as well.
Well, as Selvon tells us all the time, there's a clear separation. And sometimes...
But Stephen, that is incorrect.
Okay, go ahead.
That separation exists only in theory. So in theory, right, there's a minister and there's a permanent secretary. One is, they have two different responsibilities in theory. But you and I have seen permanent secretaries move by ministers.
Correct.
I have heard of permanent secretaries being instructed. No, the theory says the permanent secretary is not to be given an instruction because that they're the chief technocrat. But the reality of our politics is incestuous. And sometimes it is impossible to separate and differentiate the two entities. I tell people, you look at the private sector and you look at government as they're two different entities. But there are a plethora of examples where ministers, and we don't have to call names, are the ones that facilitate in private sector because they have private sector interests.
But we were talking about...
It is not two entities.
We were talking about fixing certain systems, and the caller before you was making the distinction, and he was talking, he gave an example of the banks in Trinidad and Tobago, which are some of the better run institutions. And one of the things, so you know of some public, public institutions that that will never be run or found accountable like a bank. And he was talking about chain of custody, right? Where he had to get two people had to sign off for $5, and he probably was talking about years ago, something that happened years ago in the banking system. And we are saying that from what I know, right, there are still ways to get around that in state-owned enterprises, right? And yes,
That's true.
there's clearly and you're correct. There's an incestuous relationship between the politicians and the captains of industries and that kind of thing. And we know that while the book in theory it tells you that the chief public servant
separation of powers. Yes.
has that separation, but we know that that is not what happens. They take instructions and they do things. They do what the politicians ask them most, and
look at
that's
what is
coming
going
out
on in the Senate.
Exactly, that's coming out there. But it is not to say that it is still not happening.
That is true. You're correct. You're correct. I just wanted to balance the argument because here's what I noticed in Trinidad. Trinidad's answer to public sector management is to privatize. And that is the assumption that you're taking it from John and you're giving it to Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But in Trinidad, you're taking it from John and giving it to John. In any first world country in the world, Steve, you travel and I travel, I am abroad. The state leads. Private sector fills a gap. In England, the health sector, the state leads. America, the state leads. There's no first world country where private sector is the be it all and end it all.
Correct.
Nowhere.
Except Trinidad.
The state, except Trinidad. Somehow private sector.
Umpire.
Yes.
Umpire, how you going for?
I'm alright, sir. I'm alright.
Yeah, man, listener.
The state leads.
Yeah, man, listen.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen. We have a long-standing issue with public sector reform.
Yes.
Public service commissions, the different service commissions, they, as far as I'm concerned, stymie the ability for public service institutions to become goal-oriented institutions of the state.
Spitefully so.
Yeah?
You're very correct. Yes, you're correct.
So, what I see time and time again, and of course, you're absolutely correct with your description of the relationship between the public and the private sector and the political class sometimes being incestuous. As inflammatory as the language is, it might be accurate. But we see time and again politicians come into office with the best of intentions.
Correct.
And very, very powerful. They're very like, yes, I come in and turn over the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they wake up to the rude reality that they cannot move faster than the public sector allows them to move.
Where is it at?
Let me explain this to you. The chaos and the chaos in the public sector, one, for me, the truth this is my humble opinion, is very functional. Because the public sector in Trinidad has been weaponized by political parties. That is where they get jobs for your friends. Mm-hmm. They no longer serve public interests. So that is why if the bottom side there, but the top public servants belong to the bowling side, you will have problems. And that is why if the bowling side there, but the top technocrats and personnel have allegiance to the other side, you in problems. Because it is not about public service, it is about party service. We have done that. We have done that. So some people feel their allegiance is not to the public, it's to, well, boy, my side losing them. I go get them thunder. That minister feel he coming in here, I gain he thunder. And what you describe happens. But we have done that with our public service. We have done that with our parallel public service, as you know, with contract employment. That's what we did. You have two parallel jobs. People doing the same thing, call them different names. One is a contract worker, one went through the public service. That has serious implications, and Mr. Matheson will tell you that, for discipline. Mm-hmm. For disciplinary procedure, for processes, for hiring and firing, for HR. When you go in the public service and you see somebody, there's a clerk, you're not sure to see that clerk next week, you know? You know why?
Contract done. We had to send she home. You know that clerk was handling all your work? This is what we have done to the public service. So I agree with you with the state of the public service to an extent, but I'm explaining why, and purposefully so. And we have killed it so that we can make the argument to privatize. That is where the cousin is coming in the back door. We can't run a port. We can't run a port. Really? How much years we doing that? We can't get that right? You know, if we bring the Chinese here, everything will get right. You know that. You know, everything will become pellucidly clear all of a sudden.
Why you don't want it to happen?
The problem is, huh?
Why you don't want it to happen?
No, I want it to happen. But what I'm saying, these things are not fixes because sometimes they act as shadows. We don't really see the real problem. We don't get the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is something we have engineered in the public service. Public servants don't think about serving the public no more. It's about my friend who want the issue this call, this one, that one, that, and that's what we've bought out the public service. If you don't believe me, look at the chaos that is the RHA and look at the public, the health, the Ministry of Health. You know the confusion between the RHA and the Ministry of Health? You understand the IR and HR cemetery that is? With people doing parallel jobs?
Correct.
Just under different names, different conditions, and different things. So I'm saying to you is that, yes, some of these things happen. They will happen, in my view, purposefully. We did that. Parties have done that. Governments have done that. And they have left the HR. When you have a parallel public service running alongside people who went through the commissions, that's a chaos. And when you manipulate the chaos, because you speak about this chaos like these commissions, like they have been independent. But we know better. Because we know how they are appointed. We know they're on contract. You know what really know their contract? The state. The government. So you don't play, you go in and choose no commission anyhow. Let me don't get into that national. You don't go and play, you choosing nobody there, you know. Because you's commission and you only commission and discipline and hire and all. So I think we need reform. I am arguing for reform. Good. But I think we also need to own the problem and be honest. We have used the public service to facilitate some of our corruption. And you're right, nothing happens. And then we have the other problem about the union. And we have been open on that on the show. Where unions come and add to the melee. Because they see their role as to defend a worker. And Mr. Matteson will move the debate to productivity. And we agree on that. Because some of us are not fit for the things that we do. And that is the truth. We're not into productivity. We're not into progress. But a union will tie you up in the court. Especially if you don't follow procedure. Especially if you don't have the professional expertise, the HR and the IR expertise. If you don't understand how the public service works, some lawyer will say, fire you. Okay. And then we end up on St. Vincent Street. And some shop steward who understand IR principles will score some victory. The ball hit him and it go in the goal and he become a genius. He's not a genius. We do that. We do that to the public service. So if you go in the public service, if you go anywhere in the public service now, it's like who know who, to know who, to know who. And I don't think this is how it started. I don't think that's what it was envisioned when it all began. But we have put our hands and our tentacles in it. So I agree with you. It functions as a beast of its own. You never know when it's going to bite you. You never know when anything going to happen. You could go in an office and you don't know if you will be served, when you will be served. I don't even know if I will see you again. When your contract expires, your contract up, HR renew your contract. You are 3 months ago, you better be quiet, you have to go. Remember, we have to break your contract to bring you back. Because we don't want you to get certain rights. And then you have to argue for gratuity. It is a mess. It's an HR and IR nightmare, a quagmire that we have implemented for political reasons. Remember, that's where your cousins just get the job. You never see whole families work in utility companies. The whole family. You always get it. Uncle, son, nephew, auntie, granny, everybody working. Always get it. Always get in. Seat enterprises.
But if you were listening earlier on, we started with the issue of crime. And sometimes it's something I come here in the evening and I really don't want to talk about because I really want to sometimes keep it positive, but you can't help talking about it because to me it's everything.
You're right.
Right? And,
You're right.
We started breaking down crime, and I was telling my good friend here that you know, crime is a product of a number of things. And what we need is a multifaceted approach to dealing with crime. And the thing is, this is a small country. I know for a fact we have all the data. To say that we don't have it, we have all the data. And my good friend here was saying that the police service has some of the best technocrats, top tier,
tip of the spear.
He was saying that they have good Indians too. They have plenty chief. But have good Indians too. But my problem with that, my problem with that is how come we ain't seeing good results?
Because of how they are managed.
Well, the man said management is top of the line.
They're top of the line. No, and some of the things in terms of how they manage is not things they decide to do, you know, it's how it's set up. The management systems is how it's set up.
So then you would agree with me. When we talk about one of the things that we had to fix is somebody had a belly cat. The cat had to get bell.
We have no problem with that. It must.
But who want to do it?
It must. We have in Trinidad a system only of downward accountability. It doesn't go upward.
No. For whatever reason.
It doesn't go upward. No. So we have people with big posts, big job, nice salary. But when something happens, is the mailman do it? You see what has happened with all these guns. Remember, it's constable and thing we're looking for. You
look at companies like JetBlue and American Airlines and all these big companies. When something go wrong,
the big man just go first.
Is the big man going?
look at the oil spill. Look at all those oil spills. The CEO, he was never there. He was not even there.
And that is what the caller before you was trying to get to us.
Correct.
But the banking...
Three men drowned in a pipeline. And we arguing who fault it is.
We still arguing that when the commission of inquiry say who should be accountable. We still arguing about that.
We don't even have... we still arguing that. And lawyers go eat food. People go eat food because it's my rights versus your rights. And the societies that are very progressive, China and the other societies that we always examine, they have a higher moral than law, you know.
Much higher. As a matter of fact, the law is just the benchmark.
Correct. The law is actually the lowest wrong. You have to go. And they are into performance from the top to the bottom. The bottom people must perform, the lower wrong, but there's somebody, Mr. Llanos, that is paid to manage a group of officers. What is he doing?
His best.
Come now, Mr. Llanos. You're not sounding very scientific. Leadership is a scientific thing, you know. You know that, right?
Leadership cannot be a scientific thing in an unscientific environment. Ronaldo comment on what I just said there. I say we cannot hold a scientific...
All things being equal.
All things being equal.
You mean all things being equal?
You cannot hold a scientific yardstick in an unscientific environment.
But Llanos, to back up Stephen, science is the only thing, however, that will work. It can't be Mongo Jumbo.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the only thing. So we have to get there. We have to get back to the empirics.
We have to...
How you think How do you think the criminals work out that? Listen to me. We have a state of emergency, but no curfew, which is equal to freedom of movement, which means I could kill a man tomorrow. I could kill one 10 minutes after.
If you have to.
Yes.
Is risk management, they apply in science.
Of course, because the only thing that will prevent them from doing what they're doing is lack of opportunity. And that is only stymied with movement. But if it's a carnival, people will die.
So, and Mr. Rolex, let me...
I hope you're not advocating that we have a curfew.
No. No. I'm just showing you how...
But Mr. Rolex, let me point out...
Criminality.
Let me point out something to you.
Yes.
In the fullness of the reality, that your organization, your team, the police service is a large institution. Plenty people, plenty facilities, spread out.
But a police service is not a large institution. We deal with companies that have more people in it than Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
In it. So don't talk that kind of nonsense.
But
You're talking to people who deal with big companies.
But all the same, by Trinidad and Tobago standards, a 2,000 or 3,000 person institution is a fairly large institution. So what I am saying to you is, in the reality that we cannot run the institution in a manner to control crime within the rule of law, 2 successive governments have turned to suspending the rule of law as we know it as a crime fighting tool. And at this moment, I think that the goal commander is doing a fantastic job. If we talk about just Raleigh taking suspects off the street, they're all innocent until proven guilty. If we judging success by detention orders, the goal commander is in ripping form. And that does not indicate success. Because the police services role is to detect, to prevent, and to prosecute crime within the rule of law.
Well. Okay. So agreeing with you.
Yeah.
To the extent that you understand that what numbers, whether the state of emergency is having an effect or not on crime.
I'm sure it is.
It seems to be having an effect.
I'm sure it is, yes.
But that is not, we cannot judge your performance by that.
It's an indictment.
Truthfully,
it's an indictment.
Just now, the reason is because you have your thumb on the scale.
Yeah.
Right? You really, what I want to know, what are you doing? Right? But the data that you have at everything during this time, otherwise you may have to be in a perpetual state of that's what we're talking about. That's state of emergency. That's a danger.
Right? Yeah. That's the danger.
I'm saying this to me, and let me tell you, right? While what you say is credible, and I accept it, so I have no problem with the argument, that fix the criminal outside the organization. The same data tells us that a good number of these things exist inside the organization. And that wouldn't be fixed by a state of emergency. Because for a law-abiding citizen, somebody who's going to work and come home, I'm not on the list of detention orders. That doesn't fix it. But look what has happened under our nose. Time and time again, we have seen evidence of internal bleeding. That is what we must fix first. But listen to me. We're still arguing about cameras. We're still arguing about giving the PCA, an external body, more powers. Mm-hmm. We want it internal. Mm-hmm. We're still having those arguments. Sir, I posit to you, everywhere else in the world, including maybe sub-Saharan Africa, has gone past that argument.
You were the caller before you, if you was listening to him.
Body camera,
in a sense, you were saying that.
Body
you were
camera,
saying,
camera.
No, when you talk about chain of custody, I mean, think about it. Accountability.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be held accountability.
And if we can't get that right, it's easy to look out and shoot 2 fellas and this, that, the other, and the other. But sir, we have 100 and something guns that left. our care. So while we have been able to be on the offensive, and I want to congratulate the police publicly for the work with the home invasion, right? The last time I was on the program, we did our next story with somebody who mysteriously disappeared with they call it, what do you call it? A sting operation. They sting the person coming out of the establishment, but the driver somehow get away. Right? We still have unanswered questions with Mr. Joshua Samuel. And all these things is just procedural because we cannot impugn the motive on anybody. And these are the things are part of the serious issues we need to fix as well.
Correct.
And that is the problem, internal, and it flows outward, you know. It flows outward with the public. Because if we could have arms that we cannot account for at any point in time, and then we blame it's not regular police, it's them people down there, it's municipal police and all this kind of a thing. If all these things keep happening, it tells us that we have a problem too.
Correct.
Not just they in the society, not just the criminals. We have a problem. And sir, that falls on the ambit and the remit of your gold commander. He has to admit that. He has to institute that change from within. They still leading the argument against body cameras. I don't want to hear it.
I
because it's easier to shoot you in the road. It's easier to shoot you in the road because we could see that, right? Janos went down the road, let you run him down. Bow, bow. It's easier than to say which one of the officers.
I suspect you are in Germany, right? Or probably even London. I don't know when you come back. I hope you come back before Saturday. But I know that that we're not serious here. Clearly, we're not serious here. And the thing is, resources. We cannot say that resources is the problem, because there are things you can definitely do to fix the situation. And if, as you say, when Janos, that the police service has impeccable leadership and management.
Great leadership team.
You know, you probably did some work with them.
Yes.
Then why are we still having this kind of problem?
Because the institution, and we see it all the time, we go into companies a lot of time and the company is very, very strong at the top, and the further you go away from the top, that level of management or leadership muscle.
Ask Ronaldo where he is now. If that applies, if he had that, they will have that kind of problem.
And before I ask him that, and I'm going to ask him, I would suggest that wherever Ronaldo is right now, if it is the organization was not meeting its mandate, somebody would have to go home. And I would say that is not possible. It's not possible in the police service. Ronaldo, where you are now?
Mr. Arnold, you see where I am now?
Yes.
Let me tell you where I am now.
Tell me.
2 days ago, the door, somebody was knocking on the door. It was a police officer.
Yes.
He said, is everything okay in there? We're just doing our routine checks. Everything is okay? And he's peeping in the door.
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. Everybody's all right? No, he's on the offensive. He's not listening for gunshot. He's not running wrong and driving wrong in a car. They are combing and walking the community.
Why?
They are reducing the opportunity because crime needs opportunity. So when you see these fellas driving past, I could wait until they drive down the road. But when you see these fellas walking and they're greeting the neighbors, they are integrated in the community.
Community police.
If you have a basketball match, they're there.
Community policing is there?
Not the unit, community policing, the theory.
Boy.
Community policing, the philosophy. They are embedded. And listen to me, they're not just walking idly by, Janos. They're collecting information and intel. Okay, who lived here before? Okay, this car ain't moving 3 months. Maybe there's a car we was looking for. They are collecting data on the ground.
Wait, what part of
they're
the
not
world
counting murders.
What part of the world you are right now, sir?
If I will reveal that, I will reveal too much.
But then don't say much.
But I'm in the US.
Don't say much.
I'm in the US.
All right.
I'm in the US. But if you look at how they, and I am no criminologist and I don't know the science behind crime, but I marvel at how they form a blanket in the community by just their presence and telling you nobody in shooting nobody, nobody in running down nobody. Granny crossing the road, she will get a little help too from a fella with some uniform. And he might get a little name while he at it. They are on the offensive. They're not responding to bullets. They're not responding to 911 alone. They are there. So you have to think twice, you have to time them. Because you might see one walking down the road when you're walking up the road with your gun.
Wait.
You have to time them.
You're missing something too, Epa. There is no such thing as watching the camera in the control center anymore. AI is watching everybody. I don't know.
Correct.
I don't say I don't know. We are employing AI CCTV heavily in Trinidad and Tobago. But I don't believe the data is filtering down to the
Stephen
let's talk all this kind of hairy
about being able to identify our ants in Trinidad. Stephen could go to tongue about that.
But listen.
Tell me.
Janos.
Yes, sir.
You can have all these nice cities in Donkey City. Right? And that's exactly what it is. Nice cities and Donkey Cities. Because here what happened? You can't give. Anyway. I'm going to say this, but we need to, as I say, crime is a multifaceted thing.
Yes.
And, we lost Ronaldo there. Crime is a multifaceted thing. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we need to deal with it like that. We need to deal with it from the ground up. We need to incorporate the data to fix things or to arrest things before it happens. We need to know the man in Toko just as we know the man in Lavantel. Right? If we could do that, we will have little problems.
Agreed?
And with detection, we'll have no problem. 1.3 million people and more than a third of them is, and more than a half of that 1.3, you don't need to manage them. It's children and old people.
And generally speaking,
right? So we're talking about just between the ages of about 12 and 30, like you say 12 and 40, is about more than 1/3 of the population.
Yeah.
So what is they saying to we?
They need help, sir.
What is they saying to we?
They need help.
What is they saying to us? You understand? What is they saying to us? Ronaldo, if you're here, you not call us back. I realize you was just trying to call back. Yeah? So, you talking about AI? If AI was that good, and we know AI good, and they employ the right kind of system, you only need to manage about 500,000 people.
And those 500,000 people, unless you will manage yourself.
Good evening, caller. Or Ronaldo.
Yeah. Janos, just one more point, and I'll be quick. And I am agreeing with you and Stephen, because I have been involved. I was involved at one time in terms of representing an employee in a public institution who I thought was very culpable of whatever she was accused of. But this employee got away with everything except murder because of the structure of the organization. She was senior in the organization and could only be disciplined, if you understand public service regulations, by somebody above her. But the state brought everybody above her on contract. The state had to go to south in some department, in some neck of the woods, to find a higher officer to go through with the disciplinary procedure. But everybody above her in her immediate circle was some kind of 3 months contract employee, some kind of name they make up, some kind of... You see it in discipline? And it was shameful, even though at that time I stood representing the employee. I have enough sense to know, listen to me, some of the things they accuse her of, she's actually guilty of. But she will get away. No fault of hers. She will get away. Until they get it right.
Yeah.
We do have a parallel public service in Trinidad and Tobago. And that hybrid is causing real problems. And when you reach St. Vincent Street, if it does even reach there, you have real problems. We have tinkered with the public service.
We have tinkered with the public service. And not in a good way.
Yeah. But I don't know how much you understand our neck of the woods. But I know you understand it to a great extent.
To a great extent.
And outside of that, as organizational behavior, people, as HR people who understand planning and who understand strategic planning and the proper running of companies and that kind of thing, you'll understand that we do have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a problem with management, and certainly we have a problem
or
with
leadership.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Because it's two different things. Right? Some people tend to, link them as the same. Right? But this evening we spoke a lot about, some of the things that the solutions that could be employed to probably solve the problem, and we would certainly want to continue this kind of discussion.
Indeed.
You can't get away from it. Every day you see the headlines. Every night you go home thinking if you will be the next person, right? If you will have to use your firearm, if you will have to blast somebody and send them
to the great hereafter.
Send them to somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're watching your back all the time. Every day you're thinking that, it could be your day, your time. Especially the time you're living in. I mean, you're seeing things happening, and you're wondering, but how this happened? You saw that. You didn't see the video.
I wouldn't want to watch the video. I hear the audio. But
let me take this call.
Okay.
Miss KFC.
Hello?
Yes, KFC.
Good night, Mr. Matheson. I said there's something on the WhatsApp there. Either man up come and blah and nobody name. Because either man in the ground and I go out there and facing your process and that. For this stage of emergency, I see they shot 4 bandits. And now see in the island there are 4 bandits running somebody's house again. So what the state of emergency is really about? The state of emergency really making no sense. The state of emergency is to oppress the poor, and then they don't know come out on social media and talk about the innocent thing going on with the government, I just get that to that. I just like to bonfire politicians and everything. PNM, UNC, because all of them is the same, wearing the same jacket, and all of them is friends and eating and laughing at people out there. Because I was down by the parliament and watching a certain minister around with our PNM minister, all of them going in the parliament and laughing. Them just fighting for power. And when it's time for tea break, all of them going back eating steak, lobster, and drinking and eating the best and laughing at them out there and using. Especially the poor people in the East-West corridor politically for their own political tool. But look at the work pity thing. They close down CPAP, they close down RP and them the jobs of them. Politics have plenty race in it. Because majority of African people work in RP and CPAP. They close it down, they open back work pity. I watching and seeing what I could see, what I could talk, over how they could talk. The majority of them are hanging back. The people on them are hanging back. Because I live right in the back in the central area there, and the majority of people I see that East Indian. If you see two, 3 East Indian and the gang, you see plenty. Because too much unjust and wickedness going like I send the link for you, I apply for the work. And after now they didn't call me out since last year, also come out with me in the share works and government on that jurisdiction and them. What are you trying to do? Force me to go back and do back crime, the lie. I would use my wet mosquito to survive. I'm using my mouth and my bottom. That's why I'm using that to survive, especially my African brothers and them who have the power and thing. And the worst thing on the radio station here, they go on the government station and they sing that different song, because everybody's singing for their bone. You know? So Marcus is reach himself.
Yeah.
You can watch your link.
Yeah. Okay. So today we had a very exciting day.
Yeah, today was a good show.
We had a good show. We spoke. We broke it down, and we will try to do that. As I say, we try not to come here and talk negatives, but we sometimes have to highlight the things that are in the news and try to analyze it and break it down. So, you want to say your goodbyes and your good evening? We have a few seconds.
I just want to thank everybody for the audience and for joining us for the evening drive. And it's our country, we love it, and we're going to work to make it better.
Yes. So thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the